That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post the same now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Fermi Jackson Jr., broadcasting live once again from the DFW, that is Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. We thank you for being with us once again on this great Wednesday evening. If you're watching us on YouTube, we encourage you to like, strive, hit the notification button. You will get up. You get new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Facebook Live as well tonight, we appreciate you. We thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule once again to hang out with us tonight. And also, I want to go ahead and introduce my lovely co-host, Desiree. Desiree, what's going on with you? How your day been?
Listen, it's been a rough day. Grabbed that little Kahlua mudslide here for the evening, so it should be getting a little better.
Well, you know what the most important thing? That it's getting better and it will be better. And like I said, we are here and we know it's kind of cool outside too. So if you're in a DFW, you kind of know it's kind of cool outside. So I like the cool weather, so it don't bother me at all. But it is nice outside if you go outside. But like I said, man, we're here. We're gonna be talking about a professional identity theft, and our guest, she experienced that not too long ago. This is something that could affect her career, could affect her life in order to obtain her good name. And that's what we're gonna be talking about here tonight. Because we know this happens every day in our world. This happens every day in our country, in our neighborhood, you name it. Um, Somebody's identity is being taken somewhere. And I just want our guest to go ahead and introduce herself. And I thank her for reaching out to me to talk about this experience that she had that could affect her career. So I want to go and my guest go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Brandie Banks. I'm a registered nurse slash nurse practitioner. I've been practicing for about 17 years now, and I did have a recent experience where my professional identity was stolen.
So, Brandy, this is Desiree. How long had you, how long was it before you had identified that your identity was stolen?
Okay. Well, I became aware that someone was attempting to use my nursing license. It was November 2021. There was actually someone that had worked for an worked in HR at a nursing home. And she inboxed me on Facebook and she was like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but I have reason to believe that someone may be attempting to use your nursing license." So I looked over her Facebook page before I contacted her, and her Facebook page, it was medical related, and I saw some healthcare stuff on there. So I did reach out to her, and basically she told me that there was a young girl came in, attempted to use my nursing license. There was a lot of things that didn't match up. Our names were different. She told me at that time that the person's name was Brianna, was using Brianna Banks, and that she also used my nursing information, which was under Brandie Banks. She told me that one thing that stuck out to her was that the person was born in 1995, and I had been licensed as a nurse since 2006. She said that the applicant had attempted to explain the difference in the name by saying that her name was initially Brandie Banks and that she had legally changed it to Brianna Banks, but she had not notified the board. That way, she was trying to explain why there was a discrepancy with the name. She also told this company when she was applying that she was a nurse practitioner, but she was just working under her registered nurse license. So that was the first incident, and that was November 2021. I did notify Alabama Board of Nursing. Alabama is my home state. At that time, I possessed a compact license, which would allow me to work in, multiple states. But Alabama was my home state, so I contacted Alabama. Um, didn't get much from Alabama initially, and this was November, so like early December, I followed up with them with an email. I did not get much of a response from Alabama Board of Nursing. So fast forward to like July 2022, I ended up getting an email from Mississippi Board of Nursing. It was an investigator, and she was asking me if I had attempted to use my nursing license in to apply for licensure in Ohio. I told her no, I had not. She also told her about my experience in November, where I became aware of someone attempting to use my nursing license. And she also gave me an email address, and asked me, was I familiar with that email address. I was not. I told her I was not. At this time, I notified Alabama Board of Nursing again about someone continuing to attempt to use my nursing license. But in my mind, I'm thinking that as long as she attempts and the proper protocols are followed, like, she wouldn't be successful. So after the Mississippi Board of Nursing contacted me, I did not hear anything back until January 2023. And that was from a HR rep in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And this person basically gave me the same scenario with someone attempting to use my nursing license. But this time I tried to listen to see how much information she could give me, because at this time all I had was a name. It was, again, a Brandie Banks. The person was born in 1995. This time she said that she was very unkempt. That she changed into scrubs in the parking lot. None of her references would check out, but they didn't hire her. The first company didn't hire her either. Um, but everyone was contacting me after the fact. So in January, this person had applied in November. So everyone had contacted me after the fact until February 1st. I ended up getting a call from a staffing agency, and this staffing agency had actually placed Brianna in a hospital that was in Mississippi, and she was actually working for them then. I think that, well, I know that she told me that one red flag that she got from Brianna was that nothing matched up. I don't even think they caught the date of birth thing with my licensor. Um, None of her references were checking out. And also she tried to change like her direct deposit information last minute. So that was just a red flag that went up. And then in January, when I got that information from the office in Hattiesburg, it prompted me to, at that time, I filed my initial police report, because I'm thinking, well, the Board of Nursing is not um, it's not what I need. I misunderstood their role, because I've been told by the Board of Nursing that they only govern nurses. They don't govern people who are not nurses. So I don't know. I didn't get it. So at this time, I called the police. That was my first time contacting the police in January. And I contacted from the previous report and the one in Hattiesburg. So that was in two counties that I had a complaint in. So fast forward to February, when the staffing agency called me, I found out this hospital was indeed in Jackson. It was another county in Mississippi. So I had to start all the way back over with the reporting process. No one would help me. I even asked one officer if he could contact that agency, because this was the first time that I've been contacted, and she had actually worked for she was still working. They could call her in to get her check, or whatever. She was still in their grasp. So, and they couldn't help me. So I contacted Mississippi Board of Nursing. This is the second time I contacted Mississippi Board of Nursing. And basically, I was telling them I needed to talk to someone about someone trying to use my nursing license. And they were hesitant, not really trying to help, telling me to go ahead and put in a complaint online. And I refused, because I had done that the previous month. They wanted me to email someone. No, I need to talk to someone, because
Mm-hmm.
this is an issue. I don't understand why it's okay, but this is definitely an issue. So I ended up speaking with one of the investigators. So in February, when I kind of held on to the information for a few days, just trying to figure out how to handle it and what to do with it. So what that staffing agency actually gave me her Facebook name, like they had been researching. In January, I put a post up saying, "Hey, if y'all know this girl, she needs to be stopped. Somebody need to call the police or call her." So that staffing agency basically searched my name, and they saw that post, which prompted them to contact me via messenger. So that's how I got in contact with the last agency. But when I found her Facebook page, I did kind of investigate and go through her posts to see who all was liking her posts, trying to identify anyone who was related to her. And I reached out to a couple of those people, and she, in fact, had been working as a nurse. I even I when I made my public post on Facebook regarding her, I even got a call that day. Um, I was working, so I couldn't respond immediately. I was getting all kind of responses. Um, but I did respond to one, and she asked me to call her. I called her, and she told me that she had an interview scheduled for a registered nurse at her facility at 1:30 that evening. So she had applied for another job. So she wasn't going to stop. I shared that information to Mississippi with Mississippi Board of Nursing, and I think that finally I actually accused them of not caring about public safety, and I think that prompted them to dig a little deeper, and they ended up contacting the place where she had the interview scheduled, and I guess they realized it was more serious than what they expected, and they put me in contact with the attorney general's office, who since going public with it, she has been arrested, and they're awaiting their time to
Trial.
be prosecuted. Now, through my investigation, I have found that she has worked in the nursing home in New York. She's worked at
Mm.
Children's Hospital of Atlanta. She applied to work at the Mayo Center, and I thought she had worked there at the Mayo Center, but she applied, and they kept her kind of working as a tech until they could verify her license. But I think she ended up getting fired before, because of the way she carried herself as a nurse. So she even got fired even before they determined that her license were not valid. She's worked at another hospital that's in St. Louis, Missouri. So she's been getting jobs, and I know that she was in fact employed at multiple agencies in the Mississippi area as well.
You know what's so scary about that is that at the time of her, obviously, doing this identity theft, is when COVID was really, at a high, and
Mm-hmm.
they're needing as many nurses as they can. So it's like an easy identity to steal, to where that the demand is high, to want
Yes.
to hire you without having to go through that thorough check. And that's really scary. And what's scary about that too, on the other side, I mean, COVID or no COVID, you're stealing the identity of something that is a life or death situation at times. I mean, let's face it, we appreciate all the doctors that are out there, but these nurses that are in these, hospitals and facilities are the ones that are definitely hands on the most with you. Your doctor may come in, go over a few things with you, look at some results, but who's actually taking care of you? It's these nurses. And so it's so scary to think that somebody could steal an identity for something that is so fragile to the community.
Yeah, you're right. Nurses are the eyes and ears for the doctors. We spend more time with the patients, and our education and our experience, we count on those things to be able to assess a patient and determine that something's wrong, or or to even just know what to do
Yeah.
with your patient. But I do account for COVID being partly responsible for the lacks of them doing their due diligence to make sure that she was who she said she was.
Right. Yeah.
I have found that through my investigation that she was attempting to use my nursing license as early as March. Like I've received an actual email where she presented her photo ID, her social security card, no, her CPR card, my nursing license, to apply for a job. And this person told me that once they started to ask her questions, to question about the name difference and so forth, that she stopped responding.
Yeah. Furman, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean that's like I was reading the comment section. I want to give a big shout out to my cousin. He said, "Dang, she moved around a lot, so you can't keep up with her. That's crazy. I mean, that is crazy that they let me know she had done this before. This ain't no first time she did it. So she had
Well,
done this numerous times. Go ahead.
yeah, I think that especially towards the end, I think that once COVID had resolved and they were back checking like they should have, like I
Right, right.
that's successful. I think that she would go into these places um, for orientation, and once, I mean, she would work just enough to get a check, and then she didn't care. Like she did. one person told me that she would show up for orientation for a few days, and the person assumed that she would just kind of wait in the parking lot to see if the police was coming. But I really
Mm.
that it was more of she came, she made her a few some hours, and then she wouldn't show up until after that pay period. She once she know the coast is clear, and if she's not there, you couldn't question her about her license, and she knew her check was coming.
Not counting how many places were offering those sign-on bonuses during COVID, and so if you came and you worked and you got that sign-on bonus, that's another benefit, to be
Yeah,
hopping around.
Yeah, because I
yeah,
know that people would. I know at that time, I know people didn't want to work because of COVID, and you're right, they would pay some folks on through, especially in the line of work I am. And Brent, you know what kind of work that I do, of course, because we work
hmm
together back in Mobile at the sheriff department, and the, they were just passing people through on here, and some people they had to let go when they find some stuff on their background. They had to let people go because they were rushing people so through because they were trying to get bodies in because they needed people to work.
yeah. I don't know. It's a dangerous situation all the way around. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
that
waiting
to
for the
me,
invest.
that's
I was contacted by. I did get contacted by the FBI as well, because when I was kind of scrambling to find someone to help me, I ended up sending in a tip to the FBI, and I made contact with them as well. So they should be I guess we should be hearing more. Now, when she was arrested, I looked, how in Alabama we have the 24-hour booking page where we can actually see mugshots. So
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't seen any mugshots, but I have seen some. I placed a call to the jail, and also I have seen some documentations of her being arrested, some reports of her being arrested.
Well, the most important thing that they did keep her off the street, so she won't affect you or anybody else no more. Big shout out to Anthony Amos. He said this was happening in the schools as well. Dang, it was that bad that wow, that
and
COVID.
what's that yeah, what's that is it, identity theft is happening everywhere. And it's so easy, especially with how much information people want to share on social media. We're not keeping things private that we should be on social media. And so you're putting that information out there, making it more accessible to be a victim of identity theft. But for me, I think the frustrating part when I read your story and I saw your post that you had made was for individuals like us that have gone through the college, like for me, getting my master's as a social worker, and then, we have to go in and of course it shows you can pull up to see if you're licensed and stuff. It makes it easy for people to steal that kind of information. And I know like within, I worked in the medical field, when you're having to post your NPI number and stuff like that, we are making it accessible for those to fall victim.
Yeah, and I don't really understand why the board of nursing or nurses why they would need to post our license because our numbers. Because if someone was going to report me, they wouldn't be reporting nurse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would know my
Right.
and where I work. So I don't really understand why that's prevalent, and they're gonna have to make some changes because
They
it's
need to.
prevalent.
Yeah,
They need to.
I think it's one of those situations. It's kind of like, for us, those our license numbers are just as important as our social security numbers. If you want to put
Yeah.
the last four digits, put the last four digits. But to sit there and make that public knowledge for just anybody to have access to, that's scary.
Mhm.
Yeah, cause I
Yeah.
know here in the state of Texas, I have to be licensed. I have to be licensed to work within the Dallas County Sheriff Department. We carry a license also, and you can actually, if we want to get a copy of our license, we actually go to the website to get a copy of our license, which is crazy because somebody, like you said, can get access to your information, and it's kind of like everything's so wide open. That's crazy. It really, and it has to get better.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, it's a public safety issue. When you're in the hospital or you're anywhere and you're expecting a qualified, certified healthcare professional to be taking care of you, and you find out it's a construction worker that has
Right, right.
that they could make some quick money.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm reading a comment too, ladies. Anthony Amos said, "Does anyone remember the teenage boy who had been arrested twice for similar conduct? Y'all had any familiar with that? With a young boy, a teenage boy who did that?
Was
I
he
want to
posted
say,
knocker?
Yeah, he was a hacker. He said he done it. Say he done it. Matter of fact, he done it twice.
Mhm.
And we know that a lot of young, not people, young, especially young people, they are technology savvy. They could crack anything. Some of them
Yeah.
can. They very sharp like that.
Yeah. I
You know,
don't know. Go ahead.
it's scary because and I get easily offended, whenever even somebody wants to say, I'm a social worker, and knowing that they don't have that education as a social worker, and now they've made it to where you cannot say you're a social worker. You can maybe be a case manager or in you know human services, but to say you're an actual social worker and not have that degree. And for me, like I'll get offended, and I think, I worked really hard for my degree, and
Mhm.
it's not just, something that I take lightly. So that's like saying, even if she was like a CNA and she's trying to pass herself off as, a registered nurse, that's very scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
And
It,
that's read another comment too. The Quan said, big shout out to the Quan. He said they have systems that basically can emulate your voice now and conversation in your voice. They do have that now. Where they can text your where they won't open it, they have to get your voice, but then the only time it will open up when it recognizes your voice, not nobody else's voice.
so they will have to actually kind of have come in contact with you or recorded you or something like that.
Yeah, but some systems that they do, because if you like if you set up some type of program, they either ask for your fingerprint or your
Mhm.
voice, and you have to speak into it where it would detect your voice, but it won't detect anybody else's voice. It only goes by your voice.
Mhm. And I've never worked with Brianna. I've never known her. I don't know her. So I think, and I really think that she randomly
Oh,
searched to find, searched on the board or on the nurses system to randomly find someone with the same last name as her.
oh man, I'm with, they always come with some too. He said, "Yeah, so don't answer those spam calls." Oh wow, yeah, don't answer the spam calls. I'm glad he said that because they are trying to get one up on people. Now that's why when people you ever know when people call, they hang up. Basically, they scams. They get your voice and then they hang the phone up.
You know what,
Yeah.
I've been hearing about those spam calls. They'll actually, so wherever they're doing this, hacking from, they're actually calling and they'll ask for somebody just to see what you say. And then if you're like no, and they'll be like, well, who is this? And they want you to say your name so they can record your name being said, so that way they can then keep it for any kind of voice, recognition later. It's pretty
Yeah.
scary.
And the hateful thing about it is, no, Brain, I know you're a hardworking woman and you want to create a life that you want to live. That you have somebody as this individual try to interrupt your livelihood, the things you work hard for, to stop you. That's just a sad thing too for anybody. Hardworking people always getting attacked by low life scumbags. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and but I think what's more important is that it doesn't matter what she would have tried to do had the agencies or the hospitals that hired her followed the proper protocol. Like she would not have been able to get through. Our names didn't match. Our birthdays didn't match. I have my socials don't match. Even the fact that she was 11 years old when I obtained my nursing license, none of that stuck out to these people, and they still like negligently hired her or brought her on to care for people.
Yeah, that is really scary, especially, because you know how it is, even if they report something. So, if something would have gone wrong, had she, seriously injured somebody, or somebody had fallen death on her watch and or your license number, it's a whole nother mess that you would have to deal with, because then you're gonna have to try to get that cleared off of your license number with the, medical board. And so then that's adding a whole
Yeah,
nother kind of set of problems for you, you'd have to deal with.
exactly.
That's it.
And I'm sure the nurses been all over that. They weren't worried about the imposter, but they would have been all over that. That
Yeah.
was.
That's when they would have made it a priority right there, is to, to come at you if something would have went bad.
That's
Yes.
you. We got another comment too from Anthony. Big shout out to Anthony Amos. He was on the show last week. Big shout out to him. He said, "Always say you're calling the police. They will text you and try to understand your patterns to use on your family and friends. What do y'all say about that?
I believe it. I believe it. The scammers are scamming, and that's all they want to do. Nobody wants to work for anything anymore. Everybody wants to, you know, instant gratification. Nobody's trying to work and achieve anything.
I
And I
know.
think
I
we're going to
tell
see
you about it.
more. I think we're going to see more of this, the scamming stuff. And I know I've gotten more, scam calls, even emails since we went into working remotely for COVID, because you're more likely to think that it's legit because you knew at that time everybody was working remotely. And
Yeah,
so to have that, to have those extra calls coming in, you thought this is safe. And so I think that there has been a definite increase in it since COVID.
yeah.
That's it. And before the hold up, like, before we ready to get back into it, we're gonna do a quick commercial break, and after commercial break, we're gonna jump right back into our conversation with Brandie.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Delashawn Bordeaux, and I'm the founder of Speak Our Truth, a nonprofit for survivors of sexual assault. Join us April 8th, 2023 for I Survived from Trauma to Triumph. This time will be spent together sharing stories of triumph from survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, divorce, and sickness. So grab your girls and make sure y'all purchase your tickets at www.speakourtruth.org. It's time for us to redefine the beauty that lies beneath our pain. See you there.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back here on Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. You see, we're doing commercials. So if you have a commercial where you want to plug your upcoming event, whether it's your business, your brand, get with us. We live stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and we'll be glad to showcase it. So if you have a 60-second ad, it is 25. If you have an 18-second commercial ad, it's 20. It's 18. So get with us. We love to showcase what you got going on. So we're back here. The title of this episode is called Professional Identity Theft. This is the Brandie Banks story. She was recently attacked by an individual who took her identity claim to be her and did try to ruin it, but didn't ruin everything because we know by the grace of God that God stopped everything further where it went to. And Brandon, I thank you for sharing your story with us because we know people are being affected by this heinous act every day. I know recently I was affected by identity theft, and my job called it. The ones who was hit, they gave us letters and let us know that we was almost hit by a scammer. So I thank God that my job, the sheriff department, caught that and gave us letters and notified us what was going on. So big shout out to our companies who are catching that as well. Also, I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you'll have to excuse this look I've got going on tonight, everybody. But, I was laughing about it whenever I was pulling my hair up because I was thinking, back when I had to do all my fingerprints and do the whole FBI background check and all that stuff, they took me by surprise. I didn't know I was going to be taking a photo, and I had no makeup on that day. My hair was still wet, I think, because I literally showered, went up, did my fingerprints. And then I thought to myself, well, if I ever got, like looked up by the FBI, and they saw how I look normally with makeup and hair fixed, I thought I'll get away with it because I look like two whole different people. And so, but it's weird. Like when I was in Montana, doing social work there, I had just gone through a really messy divorce. I was actually in hiding for domestic violence. So the judge had actually, told me to pick out a last name and that he would send over the paperwork for me to get it. It took me going in front of the DPS in Montana 5 times before they would give me that last name on my driver's license. Social Security office was like, here you go. There's your last name. Driver's license, they would not give it to me because they said that since that last name was not on my birth certificate or any of my marriage or divorce, paperwork, they wouldn't give me the last name. And I'm actually having that same issue back here in Texas, although I've held a Texas license since, I was 18. And then, but I still, right now, I've been struggling trying to get my Texas license just because they can't track that that last name. And granted, I have paperwork from the court that is notarized saying this is her last name. So it's scary to think that somebody did not do a little bit more thorough of a check when it comes to somebody's identity for nursing.
Yeah.
That's it. Also read this too. Brandon, Desiree. Anthony Davis said this happened to in Florida 3 weeks ago. A woman died after getting a BBL because the aftercare home was unlicensed and had unlicensed staff. Wow. I heard
Yeah,
about
that's
that in
scary.
Florida. They was passing people who had these fake licenses, but they weren't real. But it was in heard about in the state of Florida a few weeks ago.
Well, I think in Florida it was more of a fake diploma, or
Yeah.
a diploma that wasn't accredited. It was more with the diploma. It wasn't with like a fake licensure. So the licensure was invalid because the diploma was fake.
I think we lost her for a minute there.
Yeah.
But what's scary about this too, Furman, is that, and just frustrating. The whole thing is just frustrating to me. Like, I have so many veterans that, over my nearly 6 years, that have been coming in with, doing stolen valor, to sit there and
Hmm.
say that they are a veteran when they're not. And for me, that's even another level of disrespect when you are still in the identity of somebody who served our country so that you could try to get those veteran privileges. That is so frustrating for me.
And I
Very.
can believe it too. Another thing, Daquan said once they get a taste of fast money, they lose work ethics. That's what Daquan
Yes.
said.
The
Yes, Daquan.
the United States is dealing with this now.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean, especially like I said, it's that you got hardworking people as yourselves on here tonight, and you got people who are lazy, slothful, don't care. It's like they want to ride your success because you put in the blood, sweat, and tears to obtain the life that you want. Which they can have the same thing too, but they choose not to. They choose to rob from other people and think they did something, and eventually you're gonna get caught anyway.
Yeah, you will get caught eventually. But I'll say, I don't think, had she stopped in January or before January, I think she probably would have kind of went away. But she just kept being persistent, and once her persistence just showed me that, I was like, well, she must have been successful in getting a job before. If she's not, that's what prompted me to go a bit further. But as of January, the boards of nursing, they didn't even direct me to the police. And yeah, I didn't really, like I said, I thought that if as long as the places were doing their checks, she wouldn't be successful. So notifying the board is where I stopped up until I saw that she was not going to stop.
Yeah, she made a career out of this because
So she
she
could have very.
she I think we lost her.
Yeah, I think we lost her for a minute there. Anthony just said on there, I met a lot of fake vets who don't know that he's currently in the military. You know what? There's nothing that I enjoy more when I know somebody's lying and I can actually call them out on it, Anthony. Because of the fact that they really truly think they can get away with it. And I find it to be ultimately disrespectful, like to the max.
That's crazy, man. We got some crazy people in this world. I'm gonna read a comment too, Desiree from my cousin. We shout out to him, my bloodline. He said it's gonna get worse. People are being more creative at stealing your info. Have you heard about the plugs at the airport? It could be a hacker who placed them there on based on as they could steal your info. You could be anywhere in the USA and they could hack your bank. What do you say about that, Desiree?
So I actually heard somebody talking about this. I was at I think it was whenever I was actually in Memphis last summer for a convention. And they were saying that this individual came up, sat at the chair next to them where you have like the plugs that you can plug in to charge stuff while you're waiting for flights, and that somebody actually plugged in a device that was actually reading all the information that was on that individual's laptop and phone, and actually had access to their emails, their banking, everything that was on that device, the hacker was able to have access to.
Oh wow! So you gotta be careful with them plugs in the airport. Then we want to charge your phone up. 'Cause I know even in the airport. Think about it. You wait until your flight, so you want to keep yourself entertained. You want to be bored. So what you're gonna get on your phone. You'll get on any electronic device, and of course you're gonna plug it up. So it's like, dang, you can't even do that now, right?
Yeah, you better be careful.
Wow, those were some of those comments that we got. People, man, big shout out to everybody who in the comment section. Big shout out to the fellas. They just really been on it tonight. Um, Saquon said, yeah, they say they're targeting BW, and the staff is he trying to say, yeah, they say they're targeting BW,
The
and the
black
staff is
women.
I was just gonna say
oh,
black women.
and the staff is not even legit. They're climbing a number of depths. Who are they? Yeah, the corn. Let us know who you talking about. I know. We say yeah, they are. They say they are targeting. Who is they? The corn. Let us know who you talking about so we get understanding. That's what we got.
It was an entire school
Um.
offering fake diplomas. It was hundreds of people. I think almost 1,000. That is crazy, Anthony.
Hold up. Fake diplomas.
Yeah.
Listen, I have seen it, and here's a good recent story. A director, he was the director for an agency that I had worked for. He actually got like this whole fake diploma saying that he had like his doctorate in something. And so, us not thinking that things added up right with what he was saying just on his military side, we decided to do a little research. Okay, women, we're investigators. Okay, we are like, we will find the information. So we started researching, seeing if he graduated from this school. There was no knowledge of this gentleman anywhere. And here he was being the director of our program. Not only had he lied about things in the military, but he also faked his diploma. We went as shady as, yes, I'm going to call myself out. We went as shady as taking that diploma off the wall and out of the frame to see how legit it was. Not legit. Not legit at all.
But these people, well, you can make, well, yeah, because they got these programs now. You can make certificates and diploma. That's that's crazy. Wow, what else we got? Y'all keep coming with the comment says y'all are doing a lot of great. Like I said, the fellas are on it tonight. Desiree and Brand, they
They
really
are.
are.
So Daquan just says they are the fake medical facilities where they kind of target black women for the BBLS, uh, but they their lives are in danger because the people are doing the procedures are not in the medical field. You're right, Daquan. That's what I was saying, just a minute ago to our guest tonight, is that that's so sad to think that this is somebody who may not, she might have had some experience working in a little bit of the medical field, who knows? But, even somebody who used to be a certified phlebotomist. I mean, I could not imagine right now some nurse coming in and she's supposed to be giving me or drawing my blood or putting in an IV. And then here she is not trained at all in that field. You're playing with somebody's life. You could hit an artery. There's so much that could go wrong with something that you think there's just some things you cannot get YouTube certified on, and this is the medical field that I would have to say that.
I had that experience before because we know some of these folks when they drop blood, and the girl did something weird. She tried to put the needle in my knuckle, thought it was a vein. Then she tried. Then my vein, you can see my vein. She was going all over the place, but then she had to bring somebody else in because she didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think
that's
mental illness is a big issue with it too. Like you got to be mentally ill to go into a facility, put on scrubs with somebody else's licensure, and and you practice nursing. I think that you have to have some level of mental illness there.
right. And Anthony, you are so right. These gas stations are definitely getting your information when you're paying at the pump. And I have read a lot about how those air tags are able to get your information and identity as well. And I think the air tag thing scares me a little bit because I've seen a lot of different posts about people that were women that are being followed by men because the air tags have like the tracking devices and stuff on them. And then when they hack into them, and then so you put, these women are in danger because they're being tracked on these air tags.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice. Like now, if you don't even use your debit card at the gas, you might well just go ahead and pay cash. You're gonna get gas. Just protect your identity. Because I think also they could actually get your print too off the number thing. You remember y'all probably seen the movie Escape with Sylvester Stallone.
Hmm.
All right, and he was learning how to escape out these prisons, and he did something where he took a milk carton and he watched the prison guard put the code in. And what he did was he took the milk carton some type of way and pressed how he actually got the prints of the prison guard who put the hold in, and
Mhm.
then he got and utilized it, and he ended up breaking into the area where you had to have a code in. So I think they people could be doing that too, watching you, and then just get your prints and take it that way also, especially to get your pin code.
Yeah.
So we gotta be, and a lot of times, I know a lot of times, and I'm glad, Brand, you bring this up because this stuff that we need to be on our P's and Q's. And I know we can get so relaxed, so complacent, and we're so open now where anybody can get your information. We're not careful.
What
Yeah.
scares me, Brandy, is I had read on there where you had mentioned that you had put, that you had put an alert on your license number, and then to think that they lifted that when she contacted them to lift that, to me is just that's
Negligence.
scary.
It's negligence. Yeah, I forgot to mention that she did. In fact, I did get notified by Alabama Board of Nursing. They were calling to tell me to explain to me why there was an alert. And I asked her, I was like, well, did they take it off? Before I even told her that I had it, I was like, did they take it off? She said, yeah. I was like, why would they do that? Why? I don't care if I call and want it off. I need to prove something. It needs to be more than me calling. So she was calling to explain to me why there was a block on my license. And I asked her to put it back on and do not take it off. I don't care if it causes me to have to go through an extra step.
Hmm.
Don't take it off.
Oh,
What
definitely.
what blows my mind is, about 6 months ago, my Instagram got hacked, and I'll tell you what, I still haven't been able to get that back. So how is it that a medical license could be lifted? Somebody can lift a hold on something so important, but you can't even get into something as simple as, an Instagram account. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, very crazy.
Yes,
Oh, we got
Anthony,
it.
women also watch for zip ties on your car doors. Someone is attempting to kidnap you for sex trafficking. That, and let me tell you, when they stick they'll stick like a little flyer or a business card on your windshield. And if you'll notice, they'll try to stick it on the passenger door windshield, on the passenger side, so that it makes you have to get out, walk around to get it off, giving
Hmm.
them, a better chance of being able to snatch you.
Hey, you
Wow.
know what? 'Cause I noticed that it was a lot of notifications, especially here in the state of Texas. We had a lot of young people and I know getting kidnapped because every other week we've been having children getting kidnapped, getting abducted by somebody. 'Cause we get the notifications on our phone all the time.
Oh yeah, that
So
Amber Alert's been going off like crazy, huh?
yeah, so you got to be careful. So just women, be careful out there. If you travel with somebody, make sure you take somebody with you. If you don't travel at night, especially late at night in certain areas, just be careful. They go for men too. Just be careful out here because especially when we get towards the holiday season, you know how crazy they get for the
Hmm.
holidays. Where people want to rob you, they'll set you up. I remember years ago, they would take eggs and while you ride, they would throw the eggs on the windshield to make you stop where they can rob you. I know they was talking about that when I was back at home in Mobile. Another thing they would used to do if you go out to the mall, they would hide under your car, and if you walk to your door and lock the door, they would take some type of sharp object and they would poke you in the ankle and rob you that way also.
Oh, goodness.
So be careful out here because we got people who don't you got people who don't want to work. They lazy. They'll try anything just to rob you. So just be careful.
And I think
Be
Mhm.
just
careful out here.
being vigilant of your surroundings and stuff.
Right.
We're so we're
Easy to
so
trust people.
we're trapped into our phones. So it is nothing for you. I see all these young, teens and even in their 20s, these girls that are going out to their cars and stuff, and they're on their phone the whole time. like FaceTiming while they're walking to their vehicle. For me, that is like such a huge issue because you're leaving yourself not, not mindful of your surroundings. And so anybody, I see him laughing about this pokey in the ankle thing.
Yeah.
That anybody could sit there and and grab you, and you're not aware of what's going on. And so I think that phone call is not worth your life. Wait till you get in the car, lock your doors. Then, if you want to FaceTime somebody, do it then. But I know that every time I walk out of my courtroom, I'm like, phone is in my purse or in my hand, just so that way I can hit 911 if I need to. But you will not catch me on my phone when I'm walking out of that courtroom ever.
Yeah, that's it. Brand, do you have anything you want to add to it? 'Cause I know what you're saying is really helping a lot of people, and it's really getting, like I said, the comments are blowing up with people just sharing stuff.
Yeah. Um, no, just I don't know. I really don't know the solution to it all. I know the verification process, they have to tighten up on it and be vigilant about it and be aware of, the things that are going on out there in order to combat this. Um, and also, if you're working with a nurse and you know something's just not right, I just would not be afraid to say something like, we need to look into this. She's doing a lot of things that just don't make sense. You have to speak up. If you see something, you're gonna have to say something because it puts us all at danger. If you want to go to lunch and you're leaving her to watch your patient, you're putting your patients in danger.
Make sure they're getting the wrong medication.
Yeah.
And I be seeing that too. And then they come back, oh my God, I get this person wrong medication. Why you get a person wrong medication? You should know what kind of medication well, that's another broadcast, but
Yeah. It's
You know,
insane.
Brandy, I would think how amazing would it be if, if you could find other, nurses that have, fallen victim to this same exact thing, to where you guys could actually come up with something that, creating a new bill or something to help protect your licensure number. Especially now, you said you've got your NP now, correct?
Yes.
And so, I mean, I think, how amazing would that be if you guys could come up with something to be able to go, you know, to pass a new bill about how we need to have our privacy protected when it comes to our licensure numbers.
Yep, we do. And like I say, I think like Freeman mentioned earlier, that God's gonna take care of me and whoever else, but I still think that the patients being in danger is more of an issue.
it is.
Whatever would have went on with my license, I can rectify it, or it's not gonna be the end of the world for me. But if somebody's loved one dies in your hand, you can't take that back.
That's
Right.
sure. I agree 1,000%. And we're finna get into some more. So he said, the course, I also think there's too much promise of big money to lure you to sleep a lot more. And when such a gotta have it all mentality. What do y'all ladies say about that? What the corn just said?
Yeah, I agree. That goes back to my statement about people want instant gratification. Nobody's wanting to work for anything. I see it, I want it, versus not taking into account what this person has had to do to achieve such goals.
At the end of the day, folks, I need to put in the work. Stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Because that's how I applaud anybody who would take that road to be successful. You got some who just want to take shortcuts. We know the shortcuts don't last long. But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful too with these dating apps too, folks. Dating apps. You gotta be careful. You got people be catfishing folks. You see that all the time on these shows too. So be careful with these dating apps. You got people who set you up on these dating apps too, just to rob you. Be careful because they know some people be lonely, desperate, needy, wanting somebody. They play on that too. So be careful on these dating apps, ladies and gentlemen, too, because somebody could be catfishing you. You hear
Yes.
stories about that all the time too, where and we're becoming not everybody, but some people not we come to the point now in this generation where we trusting everybody. Is that make sense? Where people just trusting
Hmm.
anybody now? Like you finding people. I read a story where this lady met this couple on this dating app. She was into swinging, and she invited this couple to her house. Didn't know this couple, but invited them to the house, and they end up killing her.
Yeah.
So man, be careful out here. What else we got? There were some stories about tax schemers getting millions off people. What you say about that one, Desiree?
Oh, I definitely I see it all the time. And I just talked to a friend, recently where um, you know, he was told that he owed this money, otherwise he was gonna lose, his LLC. And so he immediately was like, I can't do that. I'm gonna pay this money. And I'm like, you need to be checking into this. Like, don't be the thing is that, when you some people, can see who's, kind of weak, or, they're depending on this business of theirs. So they're, being easy targeted. And what are you going to do? You're going to make sure you pay so that you don't lose your business. And so we definitely need to be just, it never hurts to question and investigate before being a victim. Just like, Brandie said, if you feel like there's something off in that hospital, or, in a nursing facility, anything like that, speak up.
Yeah, I mean he got to, because it's so much open. I know I read this article a while back. I did read this article last year. It's this thing over in Colombia where you had guys going overseas to pick up women, but they had this drug called Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath it's like it makes you into a zombie. And what they do, they put it in your drink. It don't have no taste to it, and it would zombify you for a couple of days. And they were robbing people like that. They would make them take them to their house, get them their bank information, and they be slighted for a couple of days. After a couple of days over with, they don't remember nothing that happened.
Again, I think that we live in a world that we are just too trusting. And even you saying on like dating apps, like you, okay, Furman, I'm not too prideful to admit when I've been stupid. And when I first moved to Montana, I was like, oh, I'm gonna meet people. So I joined on Bumble. And so I had met this guy at a bar. And of course he was all about himself. But anyways, he asked if I'd wanted to go back to his place, and I'm like, no. I mean, I just met this dude. He ended up following me all over the city of Missoula, like, because he was going to follow me to my place. He was salty as hell when we walked out to the parking lot that I would not I would not go to his place. And I just thought, yep, nope, this is my last Bumble date right here.
Yeah, be careful, man. Be careful. I'm telling you, man, these folks crazy. Another thing is, if we gonna meet up, if you are going out on dates, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that person meets you in a public place. Do not invite them to your place. They go for male and female. You don't know what's on their individual mind, what they are capable of. So always meet in a public place. If they're not willing to meet in a public place, then hey, they don't mean no good. So
That should be a red flag for you right there.
right. And matter of fact, I wouldn't even pick on I know back in the day, it was it was safe back then when you took a girl out, she'll tell you where she lived, you'll pick up from her place. Now it's like, no, we'll just meet. You drive your car, I drive my car, and we'll meet at this place. Because you don't know what people are capable of, because you don't know what they could be doing, what they plotting against. Because it's just dangerous. Like, you gotta protect yourself. I say, hey, we're gonna meet here, but you drive your car, drive my car, we meet there in public. No, because I don't know you like that, you don't know me like that. So I gotta protect myself. At the same time, I want you to protect yourself.
But it's so easy for some of these, women to sit there and think, oh, he's so
Be
romantic.
careful.
He's so, he's that old school kind of, oh, he wants to pick me up to take me on my date. No, like, I don't know you to be telling you my address.
Them days over with.
Like,
Them days over with.
you could be that gentleman after we got to know each other, not in the beginning. That's something crazy. What did Daquan say? It is a show called Bad Trips Abroad that go into details of families and people who are getting robbed and set up overseas.
That's true. It is. Because they got in guys now. Okay, with the coin, what it is, they're telling that you got guys, you got other guys telling other guys that women are bad, women are evil. The women in the United States, they're too independent. They're telling guys to go overseas to get women overseas, but they think the women overseas are dumb, don't know any better. But I'm telling you, the women overseas got more game than anybody. They don't realize that the women overseas, they be working with the mafia, working with all these people, and what they do is they target suckers. They know a sucker when they see one. So what they do is they set them up. And I think in Taiwan is a law who commit adultery in Taiwan. I think, and the husband and the wife would set these guys up. The wife would sleep with the guy. The husband would come in and tell the guy, you know it's against the law to commit adultery. So the guy is so scared to go to jail in Taiwan. What he gonna do? The husband would say, "Give me all that you got." The guy's scared to go to jail, so he's gonna give up everything he got not to go to jail. So they thinking that people overseas are dumb. They're not dumb. They're very smart, and they will set you behind up. So be careful out there.
I just saw
But
not recent, just here recently, where there was it was in Collin County, I think, um that the woman that was being scammed out of money from this guy who convinced her that he was in love with her, and she was sending him all this money, and it was actually the post office that caught it and said, you know, said that that they reported it to police, that they knew that this woman had been shipping so much money overseas to this, guy, to come to find out he had scammed so many women, but it was an elderly woman that he was getting her social security checks. Tell me that's not crazy. Like, I'm not sending money overseas to nobody.
and that is crazy. Shanice, big shout out to Shanice. She said you could be with someone for 10 years, not know them. Hell, well, that comes from them not being honest with themselves. They could let me say with women, y'all honest. Y'all very honest. I can't say all, but some women very honest. Some guys, it's just like they walk around with eggshells instead of just being honest with the woman. They carry on the facade. I mean, take the mask off. A lot of people wear masks. Take the mask off. Be honest. And I don't believe in wasting nobody's time. That's just me. You wasting somebody's time, man. Don't do that. That's just me. That's just me. That's my
I'm
opinion.
I'm
Don't
gonna
waste
agree
somebody's
with
time.
I'm gonna agree with Miss Coleman, though. You definitely could be with somebody for 10 years and not actually know who that person is. Some people are just really good at being imposters for a while.
With the movie, The Stepfather. You remember that movie back in the day, The
Yeah,
Stepfather, where he ended up getting his plastic surgery, and then
yeah.
yeah, that happens too. That's another thing too. People do get plastic surgery as well to change the identity. Also, you be thinking it's a whole nother person, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing at what some people, the low that some people go to. So, Brandy, what do you think's going to happen, like, moving forward? Are they have you so you just know from what you've seen online about her being arrested, but they've not actually, nobody's contacted you and said, "Hey, she's been arrested. There's a thorough investigation going on, or an active investigation going on." You haven't heard anything like that yet? Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Brandy.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
clear.
Okay. Yeah, she was arrested February 22nd.
Okay.
And since that time, I've spoken with the FBI. So the Attorney General and the FBI are both working on it.
Good,
And
good,
I
good.
suspect she will. I suspect that she'll. Their investigation will lead them. It's going to turn federal anyway because of the number of places or number of states where she's worked.
That's it. Long they don't show on screen mental health. They love using that. I got mental health. I know that people use that as a cop out too. When they get in trouble, they scream out, "Oh, I got mental health issues and stuff."
Yeah, we all do.
You scream that out. Every time they get caught, I got mental health. Okay, you scream mental health now because you got caught. But now it
Mhm.
ain't no problem then until you get caught. Now everybody screams, I got mental health issues. I got mental health issues. Come on. I remember this years ago, a guy, he got in trouble and he stole a bike. After he got out of jail, that's when I was still living at home. He stole the bike, came back to jail. You know what his response was? I'm gonna just tell the judge I just didn't have my medication that day.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it. I hear it in my courts all the time, where the individuals will say that it's because I haven't been able to afford my meds for the past 2 days. So this is how come, this has happened and stuff. And so, but I mean, you know what, Brandy, my response to that is, she starts yelling mental health, I'd say, imagine the mental health you caused me by putting me through this. That's what we're going to talk about right here.
Yeah.
That's it. Also, Brandon, my cousin said, I hope he gets some closure. That's from my cousin in the comment section. Big shout out to him.
Yeah, well, stopping her was half the battle. Like, half the battle was stopping her. It just didn't sit well with me that it was going on and
Yeah,
nobody was concerned.
I know, right? That's crazy. What else we got in the comment section? Uh, let me see.
So Miss
All
Coleman
right.
wanted to know how did they catch her or know something was wrong?
Basically, it was just all of the information not matching up twice. Each time that I have, like, we talked about social media, but each time that I was notified, it was through, except with Mississippi Board of Nursing. Someone contacted me on Facebook Messenger and also LinkedIn. So social media did help out in that regard. But after I went public with it, I got a lot of people that had responses where they had actually worked with her, and they would just tell me how. One person told me that she was just lazy, not a good nurse. All she did was go eat and then go to lunch. She said, she said, I can hear her. She said, I remember her at the desk and I can hear her. She said that Brianna said it can't be that hard. So she said that she was the worst nurse that she had worked with in her 30 years of nursing.
Wow.
Like I would at
And
least be like, I'd be like, if you're going to steal my identity to be a nurse, at least be a good one at it, okay?
I know, at least represent.
Right?
Yeah, she then someone else everybody that contacted me, they were either telling me that they didn't hire her or what bad experience they had with working with her, and she worked at multiple facilities in Mississippi. Multiple
Dang.
facilities.
I'm glad. Desiree, want to read this next question in the
Yeah.
comment section,
So
Shanice?
the question on here is did they report any cases of abuse? So have you heard of anything where anything went wrong while she was doing this?
No, nothing wrong, but a a few of the places did tell me that they reported her to Mississippi Board of Nursing, but of course, nothing came of that because when I started contacting the Board of Nursing, they act like they were clueless about the situation. Um, but I have gotten many reports where people say, "Oh, well, we reported her," but I don't there. I don't know if there's not a protocol in place or if there's not a department in place that handles specifically imposters. But I do think that takes a specialized investigation to be able to handle it.
Well, see, and
Because if
here's
someone go ahead.
yeah, well, because here's the thing too is that even now if the say the prosecutor decides to go in and do a better thorough investigation to the situation and decides to start contacting these different facilities that she worked with, you've got the internal issue that could be that they don't want to even say if anything went wrong because then they are worried about the negligence on their end
I
for
did
not
experience
checking that.
that. I called to one of the hospitals. In this hospital, I knew that she had worked at. I had gotten multiple people telling me that, and this was also the hospital that the agency had staffed her at. So, now, in addition to being staffed there, she had actually worked there as an employee, which gave her a reference. Like, once they hired her, in addition to if everything else didn't make sense, well, we do have a reference where someone is verifying this. But I called and I spoke with someone in HR regarding someone working there using my nursing license. And in the first person I spoke with was like, well, I have a picture here. Can you describe her? And I was like, she's a heavyset black woman. I don't know. I don't know her. Like, I'm just telling you who I am, and that someone has used my information. And she said, well, I'll have someone call you back. I was like, no, I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody. So the woman that did get on the phone with me, and I have her name written down. I can't recall it. But she said, I gave her my story, and she said, well, Miss Banks, I will call you back. I'm going to look into this, and I'm going to investigate. So she called me back the next morning,
Mm-hmm.
and her intro was, Miss Banks, I have some very good news for you. She does not work here. I said, ma'am, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, has she worked there, and has she been involved with your patients? And that should be your concern as well. So in hindsight, I think that her response, she wasn't lying to me, but she wasn't being direct, but it was in an attempt to cover up their image.
Yeah, I would agree that would be that was the first thing that came to my mind when that
Hmm.
when that was brought up is that you're going to have people that are going to want to protect their facility because then if it gets out that this facility happened to have hired somebody without
Hmm.
doing the proper verification, then they're worried about their image.
Yes, but I also said that the investigation is probably going to have to start from IRS. Why did you pay her? So that they don't have room to deny that she worked here. Now, and then she was even have pictures on her. She's on Facebook with a badge that says Brianna RN. So again, this is someone who has allowed her, who has no nursing license, to use my nursing license with our names not matching. Later on, she started to use my first name as her middle name. Just another attempt to explain the name difference, and apparently, they fell for it.
Man, that's crazy. It is. What else we got? Daquan says, is there any significant demographic of people, schemers, target, or just anyone? That's a question from Daquan.
So, and I was just looking, and it said that like in August 2021, it was reported that 40% of Black and Latino adults are the highest, targeting to be scammed for any kind of fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's interesting. We got a comment. Let's see, comment from Shanique. She said, "How you steal someone's identity and you're not even cute?" Just playing, because
No,
they
I
don't
love
look
it.
like all.
Yes. I love that. And it actually says on here too that that the highest, like they rank like the top 10 things that are people getting scammed, and it says that employment is actually number 3 as far as like for scamming.
Yeah, and that's because nobody wants to work, so they're
Oh, I think we lost her again.
not just in nursing.
Oh, there you go.
They're desperate to hire in just about any field, so they are not doing their due diligence.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember when debit cards and everything was coming out, they used to ask for your ID. For use that debit card, they don't even ask for your ID no more. You just give them your debit card, they just go ahead and swipe it. They don't ask for no identification or nothing.
Yeah, and then
It,
if you get the wrong person in the right place, you have free reign for anything to happen. You got that one person who's like, I'm hooking everybody up with whatever. Your whole system's busted.
and Miss Coleman made a comment in here, and she said they should have your photos and fingerprints with your license, just like realtors, correction officers, etc. And we were actually talking about that earlier. Is that even for me, I had to get fingerprints done and photos taken by the FBI for this. And so, but for us, we were thinking it's crazy that they didn't even bother to check to match if her date of birth matched her license number. So Ms. Coleman, they didn't do anything. These facilities were not checking this to make sure that matched at all. And Brandie was saying that she actually, got that licensure when the other girl was 11 years old. So how could that girl possibly match that licensure number? That
Yeah,
was
it
complete
didn't.
negligence on the facility's end.
Yes, it didn't make sense at all. Nobody. I mean, that's basic. I actually have a recording because at this point I was tired of just saying who said what. I started recording every incident that I had with these places. And the last place that called me, I actually didn't just tell them what I knew. I tried to get as much information as I could from them. And they were the one. I do commend them on the fact that although they hired her, they identified their mistake and they helped us to stop her. So because I still didn't know who she was even after a year and a half. But one of the representatives from that company made a comment. She was like, "Yeah, we're gonna start making sure the date of birth match." And I was like, "That's basic. That's basic verification."
Yeah,
And
that's
then that's
crazy.
bad when these companies, when something bad, that's when they want to get on they P's and Q's now. When something bad, that's when they want to say, "Oh, you should have been on your business a long time ago. Don't wait till something happen." Then all of a sudden they want to get on their P's and Q's now.
Yeah, but a lot of places just let her go or fired her. I spoke with one agency that told me that she was on their do not hire list because she was attempting to use a nurse practitioner license out of Alabama. Now, I mean, I guess they're like, okay, well, she can't work here, but they sent her on to go somewhere else instead of. I said, well, did y'all report her? She said no. They,
They dropped the ball on their part. They
a
should be
lot
held
of balls
accountable for that
dropped.
too.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
should be
balls
held accountable for
dropped.
that.
Yeah. I'm looking for an attorney. I hadn't found the exact right one. In fact, I stopped looking. I said that I was going to wait until the AGI and the feds do their investigation. That way, whatever attorney I do get will, I mean, you just go to the case file. You know who to contact. You know, and I highly doubt. I don't know. I'm going to work on getting an attorney though.
I was just reading online too, and it says that as of February 14th, 2023, it says that nearly 70,000 people had reported romance scams.
Romance scams?
Yeah, saying that thieves had stole more than $1 billion from romance scams just in the last year.
Wow. Wow.
And Miss Coleman says on here, you would think working in the medical field would be more of it.
Yeah, more on it. Yeah, you would. I really think fingerprints and pictures, like she said, is going to be the answer. To solve to this, the solution is going to be take the numbers off, or if you're going to have the numbers, you got to have a fingerprinting process to go along with it, in addition to the photo verification. Because Brianna looks nothing like me. I mean,
no, she don't. She don't. Not at all. Period. She's not in your neighborhood.
Yeah, they allowed it though.
Wow. Yeah, I don't blame you on that. Like I said, handle your business with that because they dropped the ball on that.
I did say that I was going to say, y'all, we do know Brianna's innocent until she's proven guilty. I didn't want to just be on here. Oh, she did it. She did it.
Right. We got to say that. We got to make that comment, right?
Disclaimer, yes.
Because then that way we can't go back and have anybody saying that we were saying somebody was guilty.
Right. You're right.
Well, Shanice, you know, we don't know if she killed anyone. We don't know because they blame COVID for so many deaths.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. And she started this during COVID. So the truth is, she could have definitely been responsible for somebody, but you know, automatically during that time frame, everybody was saying, "Oh, it was COVID. Oh, it was COVID." So who's to know what really happened there? That's a good point right there.
Yeah.
Man, everybody just all in the comment section. Like, big shout out to everybody, Shanice, Andrew, the Quan, Demetrius, everybody that been in the comment section tonight. We thank y'all for y'all feedback and just joining in with us tonight. I think that should. Anything else, Brandie, you want to give out? Any more information as well, or
I don't. I'm glad that the authorities are finally getting involved and taking this matter seriously, and they're gonna have to start giving I don't know what the punishment is for this, but it needs to be significant to deter this behavior, to discourage criminal activity.
Yeah, especially when you got hard-working citizens who are being productive in society, want to make a life for themselves and for their family, and just have people like her and many others just want to try to ruin that because they're too lazy to just get out there and work. And you have the same type of lifestyle. Just got to get out there and work and apply yourself. Stop being so lazy.
Don't stop and set goals and achieve them.
That's it. And stop. And we know what it is now too, Brandie. People nowadays don't want to work. Yeah. I hear this all the time in my job, my place of employment. They don't want to work at all, and it's like these companies now are giving away unlimited overtime, and it's like people don't want to work. It's like you got some people want to work, you got some people who don't want to work. It's crazy.
Well, I will say too, now is the time for everybody. Like, if there's jobs out there that you probably would not have gotten before because you have the people not working, now's the time to get out there and dig your heels in and get those positions. Let the people who don't want to work stay at home while you get that experience.
Most definitely, man. Get out there, grind. You know, everybody want and we know Desiree, we were talking about this too on the show. No, everybody wants the success, but they're not willing to give up anything for the success.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot on how, you know, nobody wants to put in that effort. They just want it. Everybody wants something handed to them. I mean, I went to the gas station just up the road the other day and it was closed. And I'm thinking, why are we closed? And the note on the door said, due to no staffing. Due to no staffing. Like, how are you going to close a 24-hour gas station because due to staffing? And I thought, this is crazy stuff. Right. It's ridiculous. And I just want to say, too, that for anybody that is watching on here, that one of the numbers that you can call if you are a victim or you know anybody that's a victim for elder fraud is 833 fraud 11. And so that will be 833-372-8311. I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there for anybody.
Good information.
Great information as well. Here's a comment too. Desiree, want to read a comment?
Yeah, it says Brandie says you're in the wrong field. You need to join the FBI. And we were just saying how women are probably the best investigators ever. So
Yeah, AGI, they were like, "Look, thank you for this, all of the information that I provided them." But I got quite a bit from social media, like that. It just took off with social media. So, like I say, it's not all bad,
but I love is that you stayed on it. You didn't just let it go thinking, oh, it's okay, because for you to be persistent and want to make sure that was put to a stop. I think that right there is amazing. And Miss Coleman says, because you had solved your own damn case.
I had solved my own damn case.
I said they're on with the comments, and we appreciate everybody with their comments. Like I said, man, tonight was awesome. Brandie, thank you for sharing this information with us, sharing your story. People really enjoyed it. They really learned a lot from it. Some great information was brought forth from the people in the comment section. So we thank you, and we thank everybody for being plugged in with us tonight.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yes,
And
we
most
we really
definitely,
we appreciate it, and I think it's great information so that people out there that are kind of second guessing somebody in the work field, maybe they'll speak up, but also those that maybe are also finding themselves to be a victim of identity theft will want to speak up as well. So I think that's a great inspiration. We appreciate you being on.
yeah, we do. We really do. We appreciate. Thank you, Brandy, as well. Once again, like I said, you can check out the replay on our YouTube channel. It will be up. Also, a copy of this will be. Oh, I'm gonna give a big shout out to those when they listen to it. Big shout out to the listeners on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts as well. This will be up on our other platform as well, so you can listen to the auto version of this podcast. And we encourage y'all, man. Y'all look us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Type in "Walking His Ways Impact Voice" podcast. Download the podcast on those sites as well. I checked that we had over I think over 1,600 some downloads from the podcast. We really want to get those numbers up even more. So support. Also go to our YouTube channel. Click subscribe, get the notification button. We live stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday morning, so you will get upcoming episodes as well. We really want to take this thing to the next level here at the podcast. We see we're doing more interviews, we're doing commercials now. So we really want to take this thing to the next level and reach nations. That's what it's all about. So once again, Brandon, thank you. Appreciate you. Give you your roses for what you're doing and to really make an impact, because you really have made an impact. You are an extraordinary woman doing extraordinary things, by the way.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Like I said, man, we had a great time here on the podcast, Desiree. We thank Brandy as well for being with us tonight. What was said was, man, we had some great information, Brandy. I mean, Desiree. People comment, people really engaged with us tonight, and then we want more y'all to do. Big shout out to the coin. He said, "Y'all bosses did awesome tonight." Big shout out to the coin. I know he wouldn't be able to be here. Other circumstances came up, but he's here with us in spirit. Big shout out to Ursula. Big shout out to Shay as well. Big shout out to everybody. Shanice in the comment section. Demetrius. And Andrew.
Anthony Amos.
Yeah. So we appreciate you as well, also, man, for taking time out for hanging out with us tonight. Brandon, let's do a little recap right quick before we get off. Mainly stuff we've been talking about, Desiree, on the show, it came back around again. It recycled itself right back around again. And I want to get your remarks. What did you get out tonight's show?
So I loved that, she was definitely thorough about making sure that she just didn't let it slide, hoping that this person would get caught. She knew that it was wrong. She respected her hard work of earning that licensure. And so she stayed on it. And even whenever she felt like she wasn't getting those answers, she didn't let that discourage her from giving up to make sure that this girl was put to a stop. So I think that by far that's so important. But I also think that, anybody that's watching this podcast, share it. We need to be, a lot more aware of what identity theft looks like, also how to report that, and building a support system for one another, because it is happening. It's happening to our teens that are on social media. It's happening to our elderly, individuals. It can happen to anybody. And so I think that that's something that we definitely need to be bringing more light, and we did that this evening with Brandie on the show.
Yeah, we should appreciate her for that. Reaching out to me, and we made it happen here tonight. And what was said, man, really was some great information that was brought forth tonight. And man, y'all really, what we got? The corn said. All right, there. I'm gonna let you read what the corn said.
He said, I loved the recap portion. Add this. Oh, Dewan, that is so sweet. So I didn't mess it up, is what you're trying to say. My other recap would be is, after a long, crazy day and you look like this, don't forget to make you that little relaxing drink. Okay. And so that would be added to my little recap. Daquan, we missed you being on with us this evening. But I definitely think that is, um, we need this podcast shared. People need to know that there are other people out there, and eventually, we can hope that somebody would decide to do something to help make a change so that we can actually stop this. But there's so many people that think, oh, that couldn't happen to me. It can happen to you, and it could mean somebody's life, like in this situation where it was somebody stealing the identity of a nurse practitioner. And that's just scary to
Right.
me.
That's it. And another thing, ladies and gentlemen, too, that's listening tonight, we're really what I got out of it, Desiree, how hardworking people are being attacked
Yes.
just because you made up your mind. I want to create the life I want to live, not just for me, but for my family. I want them to have the best of everything. You want to have the best of everything, and you wake up where you work at night, day, whatever. You getting out here making stuff happen. You got low life scumbags who want to take that from you because they chose not to get their lazy ass and go to work. But they want to try to take advantage of hardworking individuals, yourself and many others, instead of them doing the damn thing themselves and get off your lazy ass and go to work. They go for any male or female. I don't care what I say it again, male or female. Get your ass up, your lazy ass up, and take your behind to work and make something happen. Stop taking advantage of hardworking people. And I said it here on the podcast.
Yeah, I support you on that, 100%. And so, he said, Furman gave a voice to many, bless the boss. Thank you for giving him that little kudos there. That was him giving you your cigar just then. Okay.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, you're exactly right. And it's people that are selfish, people that are so inconsiderate and downright just lazy. I think that is, although I will say, for some scammers, that's some pretty creative work that they're doing to be able to be so malicious on stealing things. Some of it comes, it takes a lot of, to get that from people. But for us that are actually working hard to have a living, and then even like I was mentioning earlier, the repercussions that could have come of that afterwards. I know, like, even if as a social worker, if your name is in any kind of report because of any kind of poor work conduct, every time your name gets pulled up in like, if the social worker, if another company wants to pull up your name, it will link you to that. So for her, it could have even been worse because her name would then be reported if somebody had, died or something from that. And then she's going to have to continually be re-victimized when she's having to justify that was not her, that she was part of identity theft. And so I just think that that's just horrible for anybody to do that to you.
That's it. Don't be lazy. Lazy don't get you nowhere. Lazy sucks. It really do. Lazy sucks big time. Don't be lazy.
And Daquan says predator and prey mentality. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. So, man, y'all. so, man, y'all be great, man. I think that sums up everything. We got everything covered for tonight. We're very excited. We thank everybody for tuning in, hanging out with us tonight. We're gonna be back Saturday morning, of course, April 1st, which will be my birthday month. My birthday be the 23rd of April. I'll be turning 41 years young. So that kind of like that as well. So man, y'all have. I think that covers everything. Does right? I
Who,
think we got
who,
it.
who are we having on April 1st?
We got an artist out of Chicago. I was singing the information over. He's from Chicago. A
Nice. Okay, so
rapper.
y'all tune in for that.
Yeah, a hip hop artist out of Chicago. I will give you the information on that. So that's gonna be April 1st at 10 a.m. So man, y'all tune in with us Saturday morning as we introduce his artist, as he talk about his music, his style of music, and how he wants his music to impact of course, you know what I'm saying? So man, I apply anybody, and I know Desiree, you apply anybody too who doing something productive in their life, and they're making something, they're utilizing their gifts to make it, and they're not just sitting around being idle minded, Desiree. They're not just um they just out here making stuff work, making stuff happen, making sacrifices, to achieve the greatness in life. Anybody can be great. Just start with your mindset.
Yeah.
And
No, I
so
was just
that's
gonna
what
say, yeah. I mean, and definitely, I don't care if you're getting out there and you're having to, pick up trash, for in the Walmart parking lot. If that's your job, I'm applauding you for actually getting up and doing something instead of being one of these assholes that are just stealing money from everybody.
right. And be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? Be the best sweeper, be the best cleaning in the bath. Let me tell y'all something. And they don't realize this, Desiree, too. I remember Steve Harvey was sharing his story about this guy back when they grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, in Cleveland, I think. And his guys, one of the guys he was friends with, he didn't hang out long. He used to had to go cut grass, and he was talking about how other people used to make fun of him, like, "Man, why you getting up to go just cut some grass?" Eventually, by him cutting grass, he ended up having his own landscaping business, which is rolled like I think he said like millions of dollars a year. But they laughed at this young man because he used to get up early because he didn't want to hang out all night. He had a job to do, so he knew that when he was cutting grass, it made him have a landscape company. Same thing if you just if you cleaning houses, toilets, that can lead to a janitorial company. Don't let nobody don't let nobody laugh at you. Don't let nobody belittle you because of your dream.
Right.
They looking at just because you cleaning a toilet, they laughing at you. No, you gonna even have your janitorial company. Before you know it, you gonna have a franchise of janitorial companies, and they
Right.
gonna be looking for you to, hey man, hire me on. But they used to laugh at you. Just because people are laughing at you now, they don't see the vision because they're not part of the vision.
Listen, it's easy to laugh about people that are these individuals that are, cleaning out the toilets, or, even, the janitor people at, say at an airport. But it's not so fun in games laughing whenever it's you that needs to go into that bathroom and you want that bathroom to be cleaned. you
That's
know,
true.
you don't stop and think about that. You look down at these people that are doing these jobs that you think, gosh, I would never do that. Well, somebody's got to do it. And I appreciate them because I like to know that when I go into a restroom, it's not, nasty. So stop and think about who it is that you're making fun of and you're looking down on.
That's it. Because trust me, they making something happen. Like I said, we need a clean bathroom. But don't knock nobody dream. Just because somebody may be doing, never knock nobody dream. And that's what we see that a lot of times, Desiree. People laugh at this person because you out here. They know what they used to. Why people used to pick on nerds a lot. Trust me, nerds became successful. In school they used to laugh at the nerd and poke fun at the nerd, but the nerd became more successful. But the one that were laughing at them didn't make nothing out their life.
Right. No, yeah, no, again, I'll say it over and over. Just stay humble, people, and be kind. Like you never know what somebody's going through or why somebody's having to do that job. And at the end of the day, I like to think of it this way. If it's a job that I would say, oh my gosh, there's no way I could do it, I'm thankful for those people that are doing those jobs because somebody's got to do it and it's not me. So you guys just need to change your whole mindset and just not be so get off that ego kick that you're on.
Yeah, get off that ego kick. We better get out the studio tonight. We had enough.
Okay.
Enough was covered. Enough was said. We thank everybody for just tuning in and watching with us tonight, of course. And man, y'all have a great night. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. Thought they're going to see tomorrow, and they didn't. Let's live life like it's our last. And most important, man, look yourself in the mirror tonight. Tell yourself I love you. Tell yourself I got your back. Tell yourself we're going to succeed. Tell yourself we're going to conquer. Tell yourself that we all that in a bag of chips. But tell yourself I'm walking with my head held up high. No matter how I look,
Yes.
no matter how your bank account look, no matter how your living circumstances look, you will come out of this. Your bank account don't determine you. Your title don't determine you. You determine you. And you walk your head up high, and you be encouraged tonight. And don't feel bad just because you may not have what you have right now. But keep working. It's gonna come to pass eventually. Like I said, can't look at instant gratification. Social media desperate has fooled us with the stuff that people do. You can have this overnight and you keep doing this, and they get you like that, but they're not going to tell you the work behind that. They'll show you
Right.
the glitz and glamour, but they're not going to take you behind the scene of the blood and sweat and tears, losing sleep, not being able to go out and hang out with friends and family members because they want to get this right. Because think about it, we want this to be set up for our children to eat off this. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start thinking generationally as
Right.
well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday morning at 10, and excited about our guest.
And that's what's up. So we're going to be back here Saturday morning, 10 a.m. here on Walking This Way Impact Force Podcast. We thank y'all, man. Y'all have a great night, and we out this thing. Peace, everybody.
That's ISO?
Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my post to say now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on.